Hello everyone, my name is Britt Stoltzfus. I am a registered dietitian and I have teamed up with Lancaster Cancer Center to make these videos for a series we call Dishes to Nourish. Today I am going to talk about ways to incorporate vegetables into your diet that are simple, easy, and refreshing. So today we're going to do a naan bread salad, which is really easy, really simple, and also now that we're coming into the spring summer months can be really refreshing as well. So today I have a cucumber, I have pepper, which is a green pepper, but you can use any type of bell pepper that you would like. I have a pint of grape tomatoes, fresh basil. I also have balsamic vinegar here and also feta cheese and naan bread. Naan bread you can make on your own, but you can also purchase it. And honestly, I tend to buy it and I freeze it, and it stays good in the freezer for about 3 months, and you can just stick it in the microwave to heat it up when you're ready to use it. So they're really nice to have on hand, really good source of protein as well. So we are going to start with chopping up our vegetables. What's really nice about this is it all goes into a bowl and ready to eat. It's kind of a mix on a pasta salad, just a different way to have it. So I always like to keep the cucumber skins on just for extra fiber, but if you are going through treatment and having trouble with fiber or digestion during this time and you want to make it a little bit easier, please feel free to peel it. You do not need to keep the peel on. This is just my own preference. So what's nice about this too, if you're looking at this and some of the vegetables are not appealing to you, you can replace them, you can skip them, whatever works for you. Also too, this recipe, you can add olives into it as well. I am not the biggest olives fan, so I'm not adding it, but it is a great way to add another vegetable in there, another great flavor. So right now I'm just quartering them. I cut it long ways, cut it in half, then cut it long ways, 3 times. And then I'm just coming through with like about a 1/4 inch size, about a bite-sized size. I like my salad again a little thicker, I like it to be a little bit more with chunks, so I like it bigger. But if you like it smaller, you can definitely make these sizes smaller. And also too, I'm using balsamic vinegar because I think it adds a really nice flavor, but if it's too strong to add that balsamic vinegar, you can add olive oil instead too, and Italian seasoning, make it more like an Italian dressing on top, like a classic pasta salad. Or you can even add different herbs, like if you don't want to do basil, but you have dill around, or you have thyme or parsley, they're all going to add different flavors, but you could do those fresh Italian herbs all there as well. I always have a discard bin, so I'm going to put the remainders in there. What's really nice about these tomatoes, these cherry tomatoes, we are just slicing them in half. If you want to quarter them, you can, but I tend to think the easier the better. So I'll go through and quarter them and add them into our dish as well. What's nice too is as the summer comes, sometimes locally it's hard to find cherry tomatoes. If you find if you find bigger tomatoes like plum tomatoes or the beef tomatoes, please feel free to use those as well. You do not need to go with the grape. It's just nice if you want more of that bite size kind of flavor, bite size. It's just your preference. So I really like basil, so that tends to be the herb I usually put in my pasta salads or dishes. So it's smelling really good. And also too, as we get into summer, this will be fresher and closer to you. So anytime you can get it from a local farm, it definitely is going to have more of a strong flavor that will come out naturally. So that's what we're really trying to do here, is just bring out that natural flavor. Also too, if you would rather have this baked, if you can't do raw vegetables very well, if you replace the cucumber with zucchini, You could actually put this in the oven around 375, 400 for about 25 minutes, roast them really nicely, and then you can add the naan bread afterwards too. So you could have a roasted veggie salad with this too. You don't need to have them raw. So the next thing we're going to do is chop the pepper and the onion. So I'm going to pause here, chop this, and then we'll zoom in again together. About half of a green pepper diced, and then I started doing these slivers with the onion where you just come straight down with the claw, put your point down and come through, and then it makes these nice rings when you have it cut in half. So then you can just pull it apart and put those rings right into it. I love it because it adds a different dimension. If you can see that, it adds that like kind of fun new texture and shape in there. And also I like to do that because then it adds the onion flavor, but if you have someone that doesn't really like onion, they can pick it out pretty easily too. But I think it just adds that extra kind of texture and different kind of variation than all the things that are chopped. Then the next thing you're going to do is the basil. So basil is kind of fun because you want to rinse it. You can dip it if you don't want it to be this soaked. So if you see they're pretty wet right now. So if you just want to make it a little drier, you can also just dip it and then put it in a paper towel, and then it will suck up the extra water pretty well. So we're just going to quickly stack all of this basil after I get it in the line. You want to add about, if you can add about 1/4 cup of chopped basil, that is great because it's going to add a lot of flavor. But if you don't have that much, you can even do as little as 2 tablespoons. Just kind of, again, your preference. So after you roll it up, you're going to do 1 slice down the middle and little chops through. It bruises really easily, so you want to make sure you're chopping pretty hard through. It's hard to tell here, but the edges bruise a little bit when you cut them, and you just want to sprinkle that all around and mix it up. So I'm again going to pause while I finish this basil. So now we're just going to cut our naan bread, and I just cut it down the middle, and then we're going to do little strips. So about 1/2 inch strips that we're going to cut. And if you want them smaller, if you want them bite size, you can even do one more down the middle here, like that, and then add those in. Well, actually, we're going to pause on that. We're going to cut this up, and then we're going to add the balsamic, and then we'll add the naan bread in. What's nice about the naan bread is if you aren't serving right away, you want to make sure you don't put the naan bread in right away because it will get a little soggy unless you like it that way. And we also will add some feta as well too. So after this is chopped, it's our last thing that we need to chop. And then we can add the balsamic vinegar in as well. So that's all chopped, ready to go. Balsamic, we're going to add 1/2 cup. So this is going to go in here. The 1/2 cup. And you can gauge it too as you're pouring if you're like, you know what, I want to cut back, because let's be honest, sometimes the cucumbers are more or the tomatoes are more. I think you could probably get away with just 1/4 cup, but it depends again how much you want and how much you want that naan bread to suck in as well. So you can probably do about 1/2 cup and get away with it, but it just depends on your preference. And then you want to add in the feta cheese. And then again, when you're ready to serve, you'll add the naan bread. Since this is something I'm making ahead of time, I'm gonna wait to add the naan bread. But as you can see, it's a great looking pasta salad not pasta salad, veggie salad ready to eat whenever you are wanting it and something nice and refreshing. And then that should last in the fridge for about 2 days. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the Cancer Center.